Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Farm to Fame podcast. Well, some point I will get that intro down well. But I am so pleased to welcome a dear friend and client partner, Chris Nichols of Chino Valley Ranchers. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Glad to be here.
Amazing. So, Chris is a celebrity in the egg world. No, um, he's spent plenty of time
Oh,
on social media cooking eggs in his favorite way, and we love that. But Chris is the CEO of Chino Valley Ranchers, which is based in Colton, California, which is in Southern California. And Chino Valley Ranchers is just really known for incredible, fresh, organic, and specialty eggs. Quite frankly, some of the best eggs on the market with just the most beautiful yolks and just truly a pleasure to eat. And so thank you, Chris, for shepherding that. I know that it's been a journey for multiple generations of you and your family. So, and Chino Valley Ranchers. So for some of you who aren't familiar with Chino Valley Ranchers, they're in retailers across the country, including Costco, Sprouts, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and many others. So definitely, if you're having a really an incredible egg experience, it just might be with Chino Valley Ranchers. So we hope it is. So I was hoping, Chris, that you could tell our audience and share a little bit about sort of how kind of the ethos behind Chino Valley Ranchers, and particularly, with over a dozen types of eggs that are currently on the market. If you could kind of just share a little bit about that product and product evolution, that would be great.
yeah, thank you. Very kind of you. I appreciate that. Eggs aren't very exciting for most people, but around here, we love them. So we love to talk about them. We love to produce them. We just, everything about it. So, I think the ethos of Chino Valley goes back to the roots, started in SoCal as a small little backyard farm with my grandfather, carried to my father. Innovation was huge in their bones, and their mindset went from cage free to organic, and then what we're doing now was me kind of taking over and keeping that same entrepreneurial spirit within our company, and I try to bring that to today. I think eggs are something that a lot of people see every day, and we take them for granted. And so we're always thinking about new ways we can, use eggs or produce eggs in the best way we can. And so, hopefully, if you're fans of Chino, we're doing exciting things for the egg category. We love that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it'd be a great little history lesson if you could talk a little bit about cage free, Chris. Obviously, being in California, we feel very differently about cage free than maybe the rest of the country. I was hoping you could talk about that.
Yeah, cage free is kind of an old school thing. It's like how your grandma did it, right?
Mhm.
We, as a company, were doing fertile eggs back in the 70s and 80s. So cage free was kind of, in our nature.
Mhm.
But we've been doing it like that because we thought there were some advantages, the beautiful sunshine of Southern California, the warmer weather. It actually, had a great effect on the birds.
Mhm.
We could raise them in that environment.
Yeah.
Then legislation kind of came, in the 2000s, Prop 12, or sorry, Prop 2, and then Prop 12, making cage free, mandatory. So we always like to say like we were doing it before we had to because
Yeah.
we liked it, right?
Yeah.
But we're not to say that's better per se,
Mhm.
because at that time 90%, 95% of the industry was doing it in cages, right?
Yeah.
So it's been an evolution over time. Now, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but we're probably somewhere closer to 55-60% of the nation is now cage free.
Right.
But California led the way, right?
Mhm.
And they introduced legislation that was copied to multiple states. And so it's pretty much commonplace now, as we all know.
Yeah. So you got caught doing something right.
We did some right, yeah, I guess. My grandfather actually kind of came up with the idea to kind of market as cage free, right, as a
Yeah.
difference of kind of a higher level of humane care, which is
Right.
kind of cool to think about back then.
Yeah.
Now it's just like old hat, but it's pretty neat that they were thinking that way in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, and so since we're here, can you help? I mean, I know that Chino Valley Ranchers, if it's considered pasture raised, it's over 108 square feet per hen. Can you kind of just explain for some of us who need a little bit of reminding, like the difference between cage free and pasture raised?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, even in that category, there's differences, but the base is 108 square foot per bird, which means if you look at like a 10,000 bird barn, you're talking 50 acres, right?
Right.
For these birds. So typically it's a stationary barn. They have their food, their water, their nest boxes, all that inside, and then they have access to outdoors 24/7 typically. Some of those pasture raised, more of the purists are on like a mobile type pasture. You're going to see that indicated probably on the packaging, right? That's a premium. But ultimately, they have access to the pasture. Maybe there's some trees or some forest. That's what a lot of these certifiers are encouraging us to do now, is to kind of bring the birds out. That's the point of this whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
To give a little bit more value and meaning to what pasture raised really should be.
Right.
Because we don't want it to just be a label. We want it to be meaningful. And when the consumer's buying pasture raised, it should be something that they can say, oh, this means something to me. And look at the birds are treated this way. But, when things scale, they often broaden the category, and then you have multiple versions of that. So that's what's available in the market today. Multiple versions. Again, nothing's really better one than the other. It's really a personal choice.
Yeah, and multiple versions meaning pasture raised organic or pasture raised soy free, or is that kind of what you're referring to?
Yeah, even regenerative is kind of a buzzword these days, right? And regenerative is really a thing that's kind of taken off, and that really came from really how we treat the soil, right? So we're taking somewhat of organic practices, but we're actually putting some data behind it. We're doing some measuring. We're doing some soil density testing, organic matter testing, these sort of things that are now quantitative and less descriptive. And so there's certifiers now that are doing that and are basically being able to measure that.
Yeah.
So giving the consumer kind of a certification to say, hey, third party verified, yep, regenerative, yep, pasture raised, yep, organic, whatever the case.
Yeah.
Beyond just the kind of the farmer just saying so.
Yeah. And one of the things, Chris, that I've admired long before we started working together is just how committed that, and I think this is really your vision and your family's vision, is just like the commitment to giving consumers choice and giving I think expansion across a category that, again, I think we're all familiar with an egg, and there's a lot of backyard farming and whatnot with raising chickens, but I think that that's just something that's been super, super impressive. And I was hoping that maybe we have a lot of marketers who also are kind of following along this new podcast. And I was hoping maybe you could talk a little bit about some of the challenges and the opportunities that come with having different labels and different farming practices, because again, I think you've really pushed the envelope on this.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good that comes out of it because you can reach a broader audience, right? You can meet the consumer who is just like, hey, I just want my protein and I don't really care how they're raised, right? Cage free is good for me. But then you got your other folks that are like, no, I want a premium product. I want to know that they're outside. I want to know that they're on pasture and they're getting, other than just corn and soy, right? Providing maybe a different sort of diet. I like it because personally it gives us a little bit more creativity. Right?
Hey, now, I like that.
I come from an art background. It was like my past was a little checkered. I was drawn back to agriculture, but in my heart, I'm a creative and innovation's like in my blood. So, it gives us a little bit more freedom to play with labels and art and give people an experience with their eggs, not just, just a plain old carton, but something they can, look at and have fun with their kids or, things like that. Uh,
Mhm.
I won't talk about the operational side because that gets like tricky, right? You're dealing with all these different products. So you gotta have a lot of traceability, which is really
Mhm.
important, right?
Mhm.
But aside from that, I think it allows us to reach a lot of different consumers, and I think that's the thing that I like the most about it.
And when you're so I love this, and I do love that you're creative at heart, Chris. The one of the most open-minded clients we've ever had at Nova West, and I just appreciate that. It's so much fun. But one, I would love if you could kind of talk about like when you're working on the sales side with retail partners, how does that conversation go with sort of like having like a branded egg versus
Mm,
obviously we know there's a lot of private label out there, and there's
yeah.
all different ways to sell and eat and sell and purchase and eat an egg. So I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about like how retail working together with your retail partners is such a bespoke special process when you do have, over a dozen branded options.
That's a great question. We become sort of a jack of all trades. We really are a good supporting partner for our retailers. Full disclosure, we do a lot of private label, and that was kind of what we were built on, right?
Mhm.
Our brand is important to us, but what's more important to us is that we create a good partnership with our retailer and support them with good quality product all the time. So
Mhm.
they can depend on us for the gamut, right?
Mhm.
There's other companies, egg companies that are amazing at like one thing, and
Mhm.
that's awesome. But I'm a little bit like too all over the place to be like one thing, right? So, um, but my sales guys and
You're very focused. That's true.
my team helps support me. I have a great team,
Yeah.
and I do believe that in all businesses and in all organizations, communication is huge, right? We just don't sell eggs; we sell quality to our retailers, and so our ability to support that full set is
Mhm.
really important to us. Not just with shell egg, we also do liquid products, right?
Mhm.
We're dabbling in some new little fun products soon that will even go further, which maybe
Yeah.
we'll talk about. But
Yeah.
um, I think that retailers get excited to work with folks like us because we're excited about all these different things that they can really hone in on as opposed to like that one signature product.
Right, right, for sure. Cool. Well, I would love to talk about traceability. That's something I really care about. And I want to talk about all the cartons and all the rest of it. But I think that now we definitely need to kind of switch gears and talk a little bit about a project we're working on. So right now you've been talking about sort of selling like a carton of eggs, right? Or a box of liquid egg whites or whatnot. Let's talk about product innovation and value add. So in agriculture, for the exactly. Uh, for those of you who don't know, the word value add typically comes when a traditional agriculture company decides to sell something different, sell what their core business is, but in a different sort of way. So it can be consumed in a different kind of package or in a different kind of process. That if you're a produce company, that might mean that you're washing and selling a bag of whatnot. But if you're an egg company, it might mean something different. So, Chris, do you want to share a little bit about the new project?
Absolutely. It's been a super fun journey to try to do something what I truly feel is different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like a while ago, I was like, man, I was destined for this, right? I was born in Arcadia, which I grew up with a lot of Asian culture, right?
Yeah.
And so I never thought it would like do anything for me. But as I grew, into my mature self and into the CEO, I was thinking, what products can we, you know, integrate into his value add? And one of the things that's really we've seen becoming largely popular here, like West Coast everywhere, is Asian food, right? And one of those being ramen, right? And so, what do we love about ramen? We love the comfort of it, we love the taste of it, But what are we always looking for is that big, beautiful orange yolk in that egg, right? And so, we spent a lot of time like digging in, figuring out how to do it. Hard boiled eggs are pretty commonplace.
Mhm.
And we didn't want to just do that. We want to do something different. And so that's where we came up with jammy egg.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's to see this thing come to life has just been so amazing because we've had so many people that are excited about it, that are pushing it. And I feel like we're just like almost to the finish line with this thing. And nobody
We're the starting line.
yeah, I guess we're to the starting line.
No, we'll just a new race will start.
Yeah. I mean, the product is there. The product it's tasty, it's beautiful, it's there. We have it, we can make it, we can replicate it. That's been a long journey. 6 years it's taken to figure it out, right? And so now we're here, and now it's making fun packaging and talking to retailers and Expo West was just a blast. I mean, West knocked out the park.
I think we got noted as the best bite of Expo West by many influencers. So
best bite of the show.
Yeah, that was a moment, and it truly was the most incredible bite every day. With across the gamut, especially that soft boiled egg.
That's amazing.
So
I think that's what makes this fun, right? Yeah. It's with taking it to that next step. And for me, it means a lot because it's like, it's that ode to my grandfather that I said, hey, not only did we take this business and run with it, but here's the next step.
Yeah.
And we're one of the only, there's a lot of family owned egg farms in the US still. And that's what I love about this business. But some of the best ones are selling out now and, becoming consumed because the egg business is tough.
Yeah.
Or, it's the next generation of farmer not wanting to take over because it is tough. Right. And I look at challenges like this and just embrace it.
Right.
I didn't always want to be in this position, but now that I am, I'm just like, give me more, right?
It's like, why not, right?
Why?
Like, I don't know. Like, I just remember, I kind of like equivocate it too. Like, I remember I'd won a world championships in rowing, and like we won a gold, and it was great. And I literally like looked in the mirror and I was like, why shouldn't I be an Olympian? Why not? Like, why not me? Why shouldn't I not? And I feel like Chino Valley Ranchers is having a little bit of that moment of like, you know what? Why not us? Why don't we go for it? We're the egg people. You're the egg man. Like, let's be real. Like, this is where, 6 years to decide to, and I don't know if maybe you want to talk a minute about what that means, but the equipment, like we're talking about something that's never been done in the egg industry, which is basically creating a soft boiled egg that is ready to eat. Never been done. And I don't know if maybe you just want to talk a minute about that, Chris, because it's quite a feat. And I just know, as sitting in your booth at Expo West, when different folks from the egg industry came by and were saying, "Are you kidding? They're really doing it. Oh my gosh, they're really doing it."
Yeah.
It was like good for them. We've been dreaming about it, but like, you know what? Good for them. I don't know if maybe you want to just talk a minute about that.
Yeah, if there's anything I can like kind of reflect on is that we failed a lot, right? I almost gave up 2 or 3 times because it was just, we could not figure it out. But I kept, I feel like when you're getting a lot of resistance from people and you present ideas and you keep getting resistance, you've either really got something there or you really don't.
Okay.
And I knew that we had something. So I was going to take, the former, and I felt like it was something enough to fight for. Yeah. And so I even had team members like, give it up, dude. Like, this thing is not working. And I'm like, but there's a way, right? I mean, when you say we're the first ones, technically they have done this in other areas. East Asia has
Right, right,
this, right?
right.
But
Glad you mentioned.
domestically,
Yeah,
in the U.S., we are definitely the first.
yeah,
And so it's just different, right? It's different. It's different. You know, the humidity is different. The temperatures are different. The climate is a big deal, right? All these things have factors
hmm
in how we cook and how we store our eggs and all these things. So we had to overcome those challenges, which had never been done before,
yeah,
right? So it's just going through these iterations one after the next. And I would just encourage people as they're going through, like, don't give up. You know, it, you can do it. It's just hard, right? But boy, the satisfaction when it was like I finally got like something in my hands. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like
yeah,
I won the lottery, right?
yeah,
And I didn't buy a ticket. I like you rode, you practiced.
yeah. Lots of years. I wrote down the note, fighting for the farmer. I feel like that like mission is something that, and obviously I don't, you you're welcome to share more about this, but like contract farmers. So there's farmers that depend on Chino Valley ranchers as
Mhm.
a consistent supply source for them to sell their eggs. And I think that when you're doing something that, and I mean, I know that you're such a teamwork kind of guy, is when you're doing something that involves more people than just yourself. This is not just about the bottom line of Chino Valley ranchers. This is about helping, dozens and dozens of family members be successful on the farm, and then also in your, um, at the processing plant, and all of the rest of it, and all the logistics that go with it, and the whole thing. And it's really incredible. And the jammy egg, the soft boiled jammy egg, is something super special, and is rolling out in a couple weeks with some beautiful
So
packaging and a great creative campaign, and just really looking forward to having just like being part of this and helping to make sure that just people, and again, to your point, I'm so glad you brought up the nod to the just like the kind of the diversity that this is going to reach cross culturally is really, really special, because it's true. And and like just the expansion of ramen shops and noodle shops across especially, speaking domestically, I think it's everybody's favorite food. And that doesn't mean that the person working there is necessarily has the equipment or the skill to to cook the perfect jammy egg. And so it's great that we're going to be able to help solve with that.
yeah, and our values. We have our impact statement, which is an acronym, and M is multi-generational.
Yeah.
And we don't just say that because I'm the third generation, but our business model, it impacts multiple generations because we are supporting multiple family farms throughout the Midwest and on the West Coast.
Mhm.
And we believe that a product like this
Yeah.
is the way to keep that going, right? The traditional model of having an egg farm and trying to market those eggs, especially in a market like this, which is really, really tough,
Right.
is hard to sustain,
Yeah.
right? Unless you just grow, grow, grow. Not everybody can do that for
Right.
reasons, cash flow or longevity or whatever the case.
Mhm.
Will too. Um, but we believe this model does kind of carry that multi-generational gap.
Yeah.
And so I think it's my responsibility to my farmers to keep innovating and staying strategic to allow them, the future.
Yeah. Sure.
It's,
Well, and Chris, thank you for taking just the approach of like putting the consumer at the forefront. I think that is part of it is, and I truly believe that how Chino Valley Rancher um, has continued to market and will continue to market is as a food company. And this is a food company in the agriculture space. And I think how you've embraced that has just been incredible. So anything else you would like to share, Mr. Eggman?
no, just hey, to continue to support your local farmers. We try hard. We love what we do, and the egg is the perfect food. As it's designed. Just eat it straight up.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, thanks again, Chris, for joining us on Farm to Fame, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Ali. It was a pleasure. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.